1 point and 1 point. That is what both of these teams are sitting at. Torpedo and Cyclone have a long afternoon ahead of them, but both teams are looking to get at least 3 points here today. They want to find up with 5 points, and that'll, of course, secure their trip to the SPL. My name is F. His name is Hindu Man, and we're continuing on with our Smite Pro League relegation coverage.
Now, fantastic, obviously. They did find that win just a moment ago up against Wlfy. Puts them on 4 points in a very comfortable position here. Torpedo and Cyclone, they do not want to go into the last game requiring a win. It's not something you want to do ever. Very important for both these two teams here to find a win. A draw will solidify an opportunity for both of them to still go through, but it doesn't guarantee it.
Exactly. Both of these teams are guaranteed basically nothing.
No.
You are guaranteed absolutely nothing. Torpedo, they have the experience. This is the team that we've seen in the SPL. Cyclone, on the other hand, not as experienced. Colossus, I think, got a little bit of a big stage showing when he got to play DreamHack in place of Trix Tank for Paradigm. But up until that, we just don't see the rest of the team have that sort of bravado.
The big thing between these two teams today is hi-rez for me. hi-rez is going to be the big one. Wlfy played it in game one, had a very good performance on that one. And then across the way, we also have Moex do the same thing.
So hi-rez going to be highly, highly contested here. Well, let's get to it. Game number one, picks out for Harambe. Let's see how this one goes. Torpedo versus Cyclone.
Picks out for Harambe. Really?
Torpedo get first pick, first ban. I love how you bring it up.
I did not bring it up.
We say we're going to drop it and fly on
Where's
by.
the proof?
And then you sit there and bring attention to it.
Where's the proof?
You are a bad caster.
You were giggling too much.
You're a bad caster.
I am.
Bad caster.
I am.
I don't mean bad as in you're a poor caster. I mean I
am as in that sense.
I'm rolling up a newspaper and going, bad caster.
Can't help it. Torpedo will be first pick, first ban this time round. I expect hi-rez going to be a big pick here. From what I've seen so far today from all the EU teams, the most prevalent thing in this game has been knockups.
Oh, yeah.
Knockups really important. All of a sudden, Bacchus. We're seeing Geb come back because he also brings knockups. Jing Wei, she has knockups as well as the ability to escape knockups. It's all about knockups.
It really is. Torpedo going to protect their bans as well, getting Bacchus off of the table. Last ban coming out for Torpedo in the first round. Susano, sure. So nothing really crazy going the way of Cyclone. Just refreshing your mind. You've got Deathwalker, iceicebabyy, Wlfy, Colossus, and VoteNBK. So none of these guys are, as I said, I think they're familiar to you and I, as we have covered the Challenger Cup for a long time and even kept our noses involved as we look at the pro scene a little bit harder. But not a lot of players that the everyman knows.
The most experienced in Cyclone GG here is going to be VoteNBK. Played for Justice, played for Upcoming Stars, the same team that just switched their names over. In the Hunter role as well there. Callus, seen a little bit of time this season at DreamHack, playing for Paradigm, so he's got that going for him, which is nice. But Nemesis, okay, already locked in here, and I was going to call on the Nemesis here because I want to say NinjaBobat and iceicebabyy, both very similar god pulls, very similar playstyles. I expect to hunt bats at some point, as we do see a Freya and Odin.
I am, and this is a personal thing. Never a fan of first pick Nemesis. I think that Nemesis is a fantastic character, but Nemesis is a part of a whole. When you pick Nemesis, you're showing your hand and you're saying, hey guys, we want a burst composition. That's what we're doing. I don't like to show my hand at point 1. The Freya Odin selection, a lot of ambiguity.
Well, it also shows you there's a burst composition there on paper already with just with the Odin. But there's the hi-rez, and I think the hi-rez was a big one here this time round as well. Has that leap to escape the Odin ring as well? Obviously, fantastic late game scenario with those ricochets, and if you can find the triple shots, people will disappear. Moex did it earlier on today. Wlfy did it as well. I'm not shocked that we see that taken early.
So Freya can go both in the Hunter position and the jungle, as Athena selected here for Torpedo. So a little bit of flex there on the side of Cyclone. Do you expect to see every time I see hi-rez, I get excited for a Wheelish pick. Do you think that it is exciting enough to go Wheelish in the jungle?
A Wheelish isn't necessarily a bad idea here. I think Cyclone GG actually have the ability to go for that in the second ban phase, second pick phase if they want to here.
Okay.
Especially with an Ares and an Odin. You've got Ares to force to change, right? Which means they can't leap anyway.
Right.
But then when they do leap out of the Odin ring, for example, you can try and pull them back in. The option is there for the Wheelish. It's not bad against a hi-rez as well, obviously. It's not bad decision making there, but it's up to the counterbans first of all if it does get through.
A Wheelish Odin is one of my favorite combos because that's the old damned if you do, damned if you don't. Well, they've got Odin, now we have to pick jumps. But they've also got a wheelish, so now we can't pick jumps. So what do? You buy Phantom.
I guess. I mean, we don't see Phantom too much. Maybe we'll see it come into play here. Yarnos banned out by Cyclone GG. And there's the Hun Bats. I said iceicebabyy, more than likely. Nemesis, Hun Bats every time. We'll see where it heads to now, especially with Susano taken off the table too. The junglers have started to be whittled down a little bit here. Although Ao Kuang is still on the table.
For now. We'll see how long he lasts there.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about Ao Kuang with Freya and Ares already.
Yes.
Ao Kuang, another magical and a late game to an extent, going to be a bit of an issue. But it does allow that get out sort of mentality that they're going to want with an Odin and Ares.
Now, it presents Torpedo with an interesting position, and I think that's why they're spending time on this. Do they ban out? No, they go for the Thor.
They don't expect magical. I think that's the thing. They don't expect another magical god on this team, but they could go for it. They could go for it.
I'm with Torpedo. I think that's the correct decision. We'll see Cyclone. If they're going to play, I mean, this could also just be a game of chicken, where they're going to pick the Ao Kuang, and it will not be. Neith will be the selection.
So they'll hold the jungler for now, because jungle technically could still be Freya here. Remember that. Odin solo, Freya jungle, Neith in mid or duo lane.
I was just going to say that.
Could be either thing. And Freya's actually been played mid on the console scene recently as well, so I don't be too surprised there, but it could happen.
Sure.
Could.
Sure. Definitely could happen. Chaac money. The selection for Torpedo's solo lane, most likely.
I mean, definitely solo lane here. It's not going to go mid.
No, Nox
but a
is
Nox pick for the mid lane. Now that's an interesting one. Fantastic god for being able to silence our targets and stop them getting away and using abilities for the most part. So very difficult to confirm damage though on the Nox. If you can get the root and the silence off, perfect. But generally, you're more of a setup for other people, and that's kind of the same thing with Chaac. Double silence here.
And that's sort of the same thing with Korinyo. Double silence here. Like, he works. Korinyo is Nox to me. Where Nox is... And I don't mean that by Korinyo plays a lot of Nox, so it becomes Nox in my mind. I mean that in the sense that Nox is a character that is hit or miss. If you get the root, you get the explosion, and you really hurt that guy's feelings. Korinyo goes 11-0 or 0-11.
If you're silenced, what can you do? You can't pulse, you can't banish, you can't ult. You're stuck inside the silence. It's the benefit it can bring to you, and we'll see what she starts off with. Soulstone to begin with, and looking towards...
Look at that lineup.
As usual.
Cyclone GG with a very interesting, yet it's funny. I don't call this off meta. I don't call this crazy, but it is something worth looking at. You've got Neith in the mid lane, Odin in the jungle, and Freya in the hunter role. Just everything on their off-brand sort of application.
Well, Bobat going to take a bit of free poke there, but when you look at Cyclone GG here, the trio, Ares, Odin, Neith, a lot of damage potential out of these, and the trap potential on the enemy team. Torpedo's three-man composition there of the Athena, Nox, and the Nemesis. They do not have the escapability from that ring.
So Gamehunter's going with this Chaac, as we can see. First of all, love this character, love this skin, but on a competitive note, Chaac doesn't always succeed. We see this character succeed when he gets ahead early to mid-game. He is Ichabod the character. If you give him a little bit of a snowball, he can turn into a giant, like, crazy snowman. But it's all up to the team to help him out.
And not just the team, it's also the build options that a Chaac has. Yes, he can go for the Transcendence for the damage, but then you lack a little bit of survivability. But are you the frontline initiator for the team? Are you having to go to the back on your own? Maybe you want Mystical Mail to get some tick damage off and continue dealing damage. But then again, are you doing enough damage in the fight to stay relevant? It's all these issues that Chaac has. I mean, early game, fantastic wave clear, fantastic push power. However, the longer this game goes on, the more prevalent Deathwalker could be on this Bellona. I will say, though, the lineup of this team of Cyclone today, I'd say Deathwalker is the one that seems to have struggled the most so far today. I want to see him try and step it up a little bit more this set.
Moving to the mid lane, Korinyo versus Wlfy here. Not the same 2032 of North American
He doesn't play anymore, so it doesn't count. He tweeted about it saying, put some respect on my name. And well, if he's had some respect left in his name, I'd give it him.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Either way, my point being, Korinyo, this Neith mid pick, Neith mid seems to excel versus virtually every single mid mage because the clear is just so easy. I think Nox is one of the few exceptions. Nox, like Poseidon, does very well against Neith.
Well, damage going out here. But she does well against Neith because the silence is a big one. You can't Spirit Arrow, you can't backflip away, so you've got to watch your positioning. The difference with Nox is her farm potential is good if she can get the damage off and secure it, but securing it is a different story. It's very difficult to do so.
Exactly. My point being, though, if Nox does catch you, she catches you. Neith has problems getting out of jail.
And interestingly enough, we're not seeing Purification come out from Wlfy here on this Neith. He's gone for the Sanctuary instead here. So he's going to try and absorb the burst damage instead of trying to Purify, backflip away, and
Right.
still possibly take some poke.
Poke going out in the left-hand side as well. Murrdurr getting that charge ready, looking for backwards charge. As soon as she heard the plan was to go onto Colossus. Wonderful ricochet. And then as soon as Pulse was activated, Murrdurr was like, all right, my bad.
I will say, Moex is a very, very skilled player. One thing he's not very good generally is really understanding the mathematics of the game and the big standing point. But what I have seen in this game is ricochets time and time again have been on the mark. There's another one as a prime example. He's really finding those, and I've seen him doing blind without even looking and just fired off a wall, guaranteed kills.
Well, yeah, we saw the replays from one of the early games he played. He's getting those just flick. He's getting those flick ricochets. He's not sitting there, Reels X style where he's got his protractor out and everything. Moex is just going for it, and I mean that goes way back to when Moex was on Mortality. I mean, we used to call them the do a shot initiate team, where it would just seem randomly they'd do a shot, throw down the shot glass, and then go in the middle of a wave, middle of a team fight. Moex is an instinctual player, and when he feels it, he's going to go in.
Now I'm talking about, look at the solo lane here between these two teams as well. And one thing it took a long time for us to see was an actual gank on the solo lane. It took us 4 games overall for our first gank attempt on the solo lane, and it came up with a first blood for the team that did it as well. I want to see a little bit more pressure on these solo laners all of a sudden. This early game just seems to be a farm fest, but talk about ganks, there's going to be one in duo.
Yeah, iceicebabyy going to come here. There's a stun onto Murrdurr. There's the ring down. Jump on top, and the ultimate is enough. Athena's going to go ahead and escape. Well played by Moex and his support.
Surprised VoteNBK didn't ult there. I'm not sure if he had it available that very second in time, but if he ulted the Athena, Murrdurr was definitely dead there.
No, I think that was just expected it to go the other way. Wanted to get the kill onto Odin.
Bit unfortunate as well, what I want to say about that as well, because iceicebabyy came into the lane and actually blocked the dash of Murrdurr on the Athena. If he would have realized that a second hair sooner, he wouldn't have dropped the ultimate because there was no escape anyway. Could have saved it a little bit longer, that ring, and potentially still had it available.
I mean, that right there is the problem. People always say, oh, you want to kill stealing. VoteNBK tried to not kill steal, and that allows first blood to go the way of the dodo.
I mean, we say that, but I'd rather see that go over to Freya. Out of seeing Ares, Odin, or Freya with a kill, I'll give it to Freya.
I mean, you want your Odin jungle to have one early, right? But yeah, I mean, that was VoteNBK saying, all right, I'm going to share the wealth, let somebody else get the kill. Nobody gets the kill.
But overall, it's a good gank from iceicebabyy. I like it. No escape from Callis, though, in mid lane on Murrdurr, pulling him all the way under the tower here, knowing
someone's dying.
I don't know. I don't think so. Do you know why? Because I think NinjaBobat just saved the day.
I thought Colossus was going to go down.
NinjaBobat wants to kill, though, but because of that, look where he is.
Stunned. He's going to get in trouble here. Hindu, Deathwalker finds it. First blood, Cyclone.
Just a good rotation from him. And actually, until that moment, I was going to say shout out to NinjaBobat. Because Murrdurr got ulted there by Callis, right? Didn't have his ultimate to escape. No purification as well. So he was definitely getting pulled under the tower. NinjaBobat went in and took tower aggro on purpose to make sure his teammate didn't take those shots and be trapped there. Then he gets out as well, but unfortunately chooses the wrong direction, gets picked for first blood, and now because of that, well, they lose their red, and now maybe another life.
Murrdurr, he's not going to get out this time around. This time, Ice does get the kill onto the support.
Ricochet?
One man following 3. Moex trying to find the kill. Ice in some trouble. No Ricochet, but the basic will find a home. 1 kill going the way of Torpedo this time around. 2-1. Torpedo finds themselves on the board.
Just a good rotation from Moex there, expecting Cyclone to go aggressive, which they did, looking to invade that red buff. But over to the right-hand side again, and Gamehunter up against it here against Deathwalker. I asked for Deathwalker to step up a little bit already.
Right.
Made that early rotation, picked up himself first blood as well. Very important for him to get off to a good standpoint here against Gamehunter, who, honestly, early game, very significant. Mid game, not so much.
Exactly. Well, mid game, it depends on how Gamehunter winds up playing. And we've seen Zalia last very long into the mid game. We've even seen Divios last into the mid game with this Chaac. It's all about the itemization and, more importantly, where you're at. When you play solo lane, it's always about where you're at. And by that, I mean, how often are you teleporting? If you have teleport at all these days, that's a question. And a couple of other variables. But when it comes to Chaac, I feel like Chaac, more importantly, has to be at the right place at the right time, because he's either extremely impactful, getting 3-man silences around a Gold Fury, or he's doing literally nothing.
Well, he's getting Claw online now. Breastplate of Valor coming up for him, so a little bit more physical protection here. Not going to do well against the magicals of Freya and Ares, though, as time goes on. The side of Cyclone, though, I really want to see them start to focus Moex here. Moex is the key linchpin of Torpedo in this game, just based on where their damage is going to really come from. A lot of the others, for me, are very much setup gods. Nox especially is one, but she can have a lot of damage too. But if they could just boom same box over and over again onto Moex with the Neith ultimate, as well as the Odin, as well as the Freya and the Ares. Like, they can find free picks in them the whole time. There's not a whole lot of comeback Torpedo could have to that if they just all in Moex time and time again.
And you reckon Moex is going to be the guy? You think he's going to be the guy in this game?
Moex is the focus that they need to bring down this game.
Why Moex over Korinyo? Because I'm looking at Korinyo.
Because with Korinyo's a great player and he's on a good god, but the problem with this god, it's hard to confirm damage. I keep saying this, and when it's hard to confirm damage on a god, you don't have to focus on it so much. You're more than likely going to be able to avoid damage by just playing the game out, more often so than the ricochets that are triple shotting you or something like that. You know?
Say that now. I'm going to write that down, Hindu, and then in 20 minutes, when Korinyo is top damage...
Let me explain. When you see the sounds come out from Korinyo, yeah, every single time, what happens? You can see the ground has changed color, you move away from the ground, right? Or you use Sanctuary and Purification.
Sure.
When the ricochet comes off a wall at 1,000 miles an hour, do you think it's going to hit you or not? Well, first of all, that's your first decision. Then your second decision is, do I purify a sanctuary before it hits me? Oh, maybe it doesn't hit me and I just waste my relic. That's why you're looking at Moex here, and that's why I think we see Callus actually over on this side. Gone for Sprint at the start, which is interesting. Didn't go for Wrath, went for the mobility option.
Well, I definitely think that we're on the right track as far as the two win cons of Torpedo are definitely Korinyo and Moex. It's just a matter of where
Which one?
Exactly, and I think that's the sort of like next level when you're looking at picks and bans. First, you always want to look at composition, right? What kind of composition you have. Torpedo, are they early game, late game? Obviously leaning towards the late game with the Hou-Yi, NinjaBobat, and Korinyo picks here for Torpedo. And then you got to sort of look at what are your win cons directly, and I think Korinyo and Moex are both there. It's just a matter of which one. So, you know what? Gentleman's wager. And I think Moex, I think Korinyo carries this one.
I'll be fine for that as long as not a single taunt from Murrdurr impacts this, because Murrdurr is a big point for Korinyo.
No, that doesn't count.
It does. I mean, Murrdurr gets a taunt off, forces Purification, goes in again taunts, then Korinyo's going to get an easy silence root combo.
Moex's only kill in this game is because of a taunt.
It's because of an auto attack, actually, just to be clear.
That's true. Murrdurr wasn't anywhere near there.
Thank you. I know. I was like, no, don't start that one.
Well, we'll see what happens as this one goes on. Cyclone have some win cons of their own. I'm really, really looking towards VoteNBK. He's a player that we've seen a lot of NBK. Professional stage, amateur stage, pro-am stage, relegation stage, and he's always frankly scary as hell. I can't think of a different phrase. He's just scary as hell, Hindu. And putting him on Freya, one of the deadliest hyper carries that we've got, I don't know.
And Freya coming back to the meta. A lot of people haven't been around it for a while, but obviously these guys will be playing high-level play, scrimming all the time. They're used to seeing Freya time and time again now. Her pulse wave clear. Obviously, it's not changed that much. You just get an additional second to be able to clear the wave out a little bit more, be a bit more effective. But it's mainly because Golden Bow's not there anymore. The Hunter's not as useful.
So VoteNBK on this Freya, I think it's a little bit more solidified for Cyclone. They don't have two options like Torpedo. NBK's got to do it, but I mean he's already doing it. He can continue on this Freya as long as he's not dying. He's pretty much winning at the moment.
It's only 2-1 at the moment. There's people about to spawn for Cyclone here. Gamehunter swinging around for funsies and going to go back to lane one more time. And this has kind of been expected through all the games today. They've been feeding each other out for the most part in every single game one here. And obviously so much on the line for both these two teams too. You do not want to get too old here. You can barely afford a split if I'm fair.
Well, yeah, basically what we're seeing is aggression out of some of the teams early on. Wlfy in some trouble. A lot of damage coming out from the Nox. And Wlfy going to heal up.
Really good unravel from Wlfy. Wow. Really good unravel from Wlfy in a very, very good ring coming out from iceicebabyy as well on the Odin. Keeps him alive there. Notice how the Sanctuary bought him so much time as well. It avoided a lot of the burst. The root did connect, which was one of the dangerous things that Korinyo can bring.
Good communication as well coming out from the boys on Cyclone. You saw Wlfy retreat and continue retreating because Gamehunter was lurking in the wings. Wlfy in trouble. Bobat double dash forward, looking for the hit, can't find it, but the stun doesn't find him either. Cheeky play coming out from the Ninja, and him and his support will be all right.
A little bit messy from Torpedo there. They weren't clean enough to get the kill on Wlfy. At the same time, Wlfy misplayed that very badly there. He should not have been that far forward up against an Athena with taunt when he's not got any escape anymore.
I think that story is the story.
Here's the gank. This is the one I'm talking about. Use the Spirit Arrow, chase after him with the World Weaver, but they don't find the collapse in time. They really do want to burst him, though. They need to focus Moex.
So right there, that play underneath the Tier 1 tower, I think that's Torpedo's season in a nutshell. They have a good plan. They go for it.
Execution.
And they drop it, but they're smart enough to not force it. You saw that, how Nemesis goes underneath the tower, realizes he misses, and then just gets off at the turning ramp, right? Oh, well, that's it. I'm out. See you later. They don't force it. Torpedo, their execution isn't there, but their thought process, their mind process, and their decision-making is there. And really, unfortunately for NinjaBobat, that's been his problem pretty much all split.
We'll mention Wlfy a little bit more as well, because he was the one that was focused in that gank as well. Now has Purification online to go to the Sanctuary after hitting level 12. Korinyo has his second relic available to him as well. More than likely we'll see a Sanctuary come out. But they're looking at iceicebabyy here with a full combo.
They're more than looking at him, Hindu Man. They're going to force to jump over the fence and over the moon. There goes Iceice stuck in the back jungle. He'll go ahead and back to base. Gamehunter, on the other hand, just going to stay in lane as him and Deathwalker just going at it.
Caught out of position a little bit there. Has to leap away from VoteNBK as well. Purification is on cooldown right now. And Kanye's doing a very good job, sorry, Murrdurr, I should say, on this Athena, doing a very good job of forcing taunts over and over again.
Yeah, same player previously known as Kanye Life, if you were out of the know. Murrdurr takes a trip from one of the top teams once upon a time from Titan down now fighting for relegation. But this isn't the first time.
It's actually funny. When you say, like, he's been on a top team fighting down in relegations, right? You got Gamehunter, right? Famous TSM. Been to the finals, got a pentakill there. NinjaBobat and Korinyo played on Team Coast with the #1 team in Europe once upon a time.
Launch tournament.
You've got Murrdurr, went to the World Championships, got to the finals in Season 1. And then you got Moex, who was on Mortality, and who used to be a #1 team as well.
And, I mean, Moex laned with iceicebabyy. It's not like, it's not, iceicebabyy was his jungler and then shifted over to support.
No escape on 2 targets here. Someone's getting pulled in. It's going to be Moex. Sanctuary down as well. In the ring of death he is, but can he get to the outskirts to leap? No, the Wlfy denies it.
Wlfy, also formerly of TSM fame, finds a kill for himself. There's 2 for the mid lane Hunter. Murrdurr goes down with a slam. And now Cyclone have opened the door. They kicked it. Now they're looking for the Gold Fury. Gamehunter's here, trying to find a good ultimate. Stuck in between many members. Korinyo on the backside. Here comes Bobat dashing forward. 3 are silenced. Gamehunter trying to find the kill. Can't just yet.
He can't get iceicebabyy, who leaps away as well. So Gamehunter's now going to run and being slowed down by the pulse damage from VoteNBK. Korinyo there in support, but it's not going to be enough to stop Gamehunter going down to VoteNBK. Gold Fury stands, however, but Cyclone GG come up big.
Torpedo did everything, and again, Torpedo wind up on the losing side of things, but they stopped the Gold Fury play. That's, again, good decision-making, poor execution, can't quite pull it off, but their mind was in the right spot.
Here's the issue. They've got no kill secure.
Exactly.
This is the whole problem. They've got decent damage across this team, but the only real one that could look like he will get a kill is Moex. The rest of the team just require too much. Like, overall, Nox can't 100-0 someone unless you hit a 2-1 and the ult without any sort of interruption to that. No Sanctuary or anything like that to be able to deal with it, or heals. And only Moex can do that. Like NinjaBobat, he's going to get some damage off. Chaac, going to get some damage off, but there's just no secure on this team.
The Chaac, I actually don't mind the Chaac. I think the Chaac fills a similar role to a Hades in the sense that he's an excellent cleanup god. Everybody's half HP. Here comes Chaac, drops the elbow down, everybody's silenced, and they can die. The problem was, Torpedo didn't bring anybody to half.
I mean, I agree with that, but at the same time, we saw him chase iceicebabyy, who was on 1 hit.
Exactly.
Couldn't get in range in time.
Exactly.
They need some kill potential. They need something to secure these kills. Otherwise, they're just going to keep having these fights, getting them low, and watch Cyclone disappear into the distance, and then the reinforcements come through and kill him.
I want to see Chaac turn into this this utility character. Instead of the breastplate, I would have liked to see a runic shield, something like that. I reckon we might even see... You're excited. What's up?
No, I was playing this game. I'm really surprised Moex just dipped from that fight immediately because I believe 3 members were spotted in mid lane there of Cyclone, and on the left-hand side, the gank it, whoop, comes out from VoteNBK, and immediately they disengage. They could have kept going. They could have gone ham then.
I think he was more scared about the rotation. There's a ring and a rotation coming on to Korinyo. He's in trouble. There's the pull. See if it's going to come. 2 get locked down in a good old taunt right into the middle of Moex's ultimate. Double hit, not going to find it. Just 1 for the money, but it's all good for the show. Korinyo winds up with credit for the 2nd kill on top of Torpedo.
Korinyo gets the kill, but it was all Moex that did the work. The Suns were perfectly placed onto 4 targets, trying to force them out and disengage, and did all those in-hand basics onto iceicebabyy and the stun to allow the in-hand from Korinyo to come through. 2-5 though. Cyclone still in control.
Korinyo still 2,000 damage above Moex the Hunter, so maybe more of it was done by the mid laner than you think.
Listen, if you want to play this game with me, after that's fine. But for me, it's not as big of a threat as Hou-Yi. Hou-Yi is definitely more of a threat than a Nox.
Hou-Yi is more of a consistent
Unless we're
threat.
in 3s, but even in 3s, I still think Hou-Yi's up there. So
I mean, you know what it is? You know what it is for me? It's like an assault rifle versus a shotgun, right? The assault rifle can just lay down this constant line of fire, and if you get hit by it, it totally sucks. But the shotgun, you get 1 shot. But if you hit him with all the Nox nonsense, you're probably dead.
But if you missed the chance and the opportunity, you've not got that to be able to do that with Nox.
But Korinyo, I mean, if, there's so many ifs. What about the ends and buts? That's all I'm seeing out of Korinyo. I'm seeing him end the butts of the players on Cyclone.
To go really far back to it for the final time on this Nox versus Hou-Yi thing, one of the reasons you also focus Moex in this game on the Hou-Yi and not the Nox is because Nox's escapability is just too strong. She can have Purification and Sanctuary, as well as jump inside somebody as well and get out of danger because of that and reduce the amount of damage she takes. It's so hard to kill her. Her reposition is just so good. Meanwhile, Moex, he's going to leap in the air and you're going to see where he's going to go. It's easy to chase him down.
Well, one of the things that Cyclone have been doing very, very successfully in this game, which is why they have, I don't want to call it a lead. We're basically tied here, folks. Is that Cyclone are forcing Korinyo and Moex to use their tools at times that they don't want to. Like you said, Korinyo has to get the root into the silence, into the ult to get all the damage out, and Moex has to get like fantastic double bounces into the ultimates. Cyclone are forcing these players to use his abilities in disjointed situations.
What am I seeing, boys? Torpedo, the aggressors. Murrdurr's going in, finding these taunts over and over again. This is a big gank on Gamehunter, and that was a small mistake with the Eagles rally from Deathwalker. Looking for the follow-up. Expected Gamehunter to get away. If he would have found that stun, it could have been a bit of a different story for a moment, but Gamehunter will walk away quite happy. But talking about that, it's Torpedo that are aggressing over and over again, but it's Cyclone that are finding the kills when they actually try and counter-initiate.
You know, and here comes NBK. Speedy as always, now that he's got that Fatalis finished.
Got to watch those angles there. Moex wants it. Oh, need to get the second hit, but not the third. It would have been nice if he did, but back to farming we go. And Moex's build, pretty much standard for so far. The only person I've seen do anything sort of different so far today.
The level 15 Hunter jumps into the level 17 Freya.
I just don't get that play there. I think at the same time you can see Odin is rotating around. If iceicebabyy had Blink, could have been a terrible situation for Moex, but he's just used that ultimate when the Gold Fury is still up.
Still so many ifs. It's about the game on paper, Hindu. And right now, Torpedo are going to get engaged on. Great shell coming out from Murrdurr, but is it enough? Cyclone's going to make sure the answer to that is no. Kalas gets a pull. There's trouble for Murrdurr, but the stun out of the item is not enough. iceicebabyy gets the kill.
Such a good ult from Callis there. He knew how long Athena takes to channel, and what does he do? Wait for it to go through, and you're like, no, get back over here, love.
Oh, yeah.
You ain't going nowhere. Even the silence from Korinyo does not help him out enough.
Just fantastic stuff coming out from Kalas. I think he's always been a great player, but the experience he got playing at DreamHack, I think, allowed him to believe that he's a great player. And now he's able to find these timings, he's able to find these pulls, find these kills, and it's really helping out the squad.
Surprised how worried Cyclone were of Moex there. They should know his ultimate's down. VoteNBK should have called out that they used the Suns in lane a moment ago. They're on cooldown for another 20 seconds here, and the longer this takes, the more chance he's got of getting it back up. But at the moment, Korinyo's in a lot of trouble.
He's going to be toasted. A triple ice gets the kill on him. Odin gets a kill right there. Sanctuary used, but Purification as well. Moex in trouble. Here's the damage from Deathwalker. One and done. Kill from the solo rotation onto the Hunter.
And still iceicebabyy going in again. Jumping in over and over again onto the carries. Gets himself in an awkward spot, but guess what? Reinforcements arrive one more time to back him up.
He's saving the ultimate. Gamehunter still has the ultimate. Doesn't want to use it too early on. Wants to help his teammates with it. Right now is the time to use it.
Good chain. 2 chains in a row that are perfectly on point. 3 chains all connect from Callis. Gamehunter goes in, but there's still no secure on the side of Torpedo. They just don't have the burst to whittle down a target from this much health.
Gamehunter uses the ultimate a little too late in that engagement, right in the mess. I think he might have been able to find a little bit more success if he used it earlier, but I am certainly not Gamehunter's coach. So he makes a play, and unfortunately for him, his teammates die along the wayside. Dual lane for Torpedo are going to fall. But despite that, Cyclone not able to take the Gold Fury.
The only hope I can see for the Torpedo here is late game. With the
of course.
No, but when you say that, we look across the way, there's still a Freya over there as well. The only reason it's late game is because I'm looking at NinjaBobat getting a good ultimate off, and the 2-1 combo from Korinyo just annihilating someone, which can happen because the protection's being shredded too. That's one of the windows I can see of a big team fight that goes that way.
See, the problem with that is that Korinyo's damage is just so hard to confirm.
Exactly. I said earlier, and you're trying to be funny. You think you're funny, Tom. NinjaBobat in a world of hurt yet again. And this is what happens against the ring, but he has the ability to escape. You know why, Tom?
Why?
Because he took Phantom.
Which is an excellent item on a character like Nemesis. Keep in mind, Phantom does more than just allow you to walk through player-made walls like the ring or your mirror wall, etc. The big point is it's old sprint. allows you to basic attack without movement penalty for 5 seconds. That is a very big deal, especially when you're a basic attack god like Nemesis.
It's true. It doesn't speed you up, though. That's the one thing. It doesn't speed you up like the old sprint did before everybody at home's like, hang on a minute, why has no one been using this? It's generally for situations like this. When you're against player deployables like Odin Ring, like your Murrdurr, like Thorwall, walk through them.
I mean, it's anti-Odin.
I mean, it's generally for Odin.
It's anti-Odin.
But it can help against, like, the old Titan days of Ymir and her Thor was a very good combo they used to run. Phantom would have been perfect against that team.
I mean, Epsilon or Panthera still plays Thor Ymir.
Now Mox is in a lot of trouble. There's the Wlfy coming through. Athena all on top as well. And VoteNBK out of pulse damage there, so just going to have to walk away.
He can still take it. He can still take it. Here comes the rest of the team, Hindu Man. Deathwalker is going to come here looking for a stun. Cyclone back off at the last moment. They want to take this fight under the Gold Fury instead of the Tier 1 tower. That's exactly what they'll do.
I'm going to burst it down as quick as they can here. Reinforcements are coming in. Murrdurr will be the first one around, but Callis is waiting. Going to try and find that chain and slow him.
Wrath.
But he doesn't find that, but guess what? They still get the gold.
Playing around the Wrath successfully. Cyclone look very smart right now. Taught the opposite way of Moex's damage. That's trouble for the guys on Torpedo as they're trying to maximize their damage, and it's just not coming up. Millhouse, there's a couple of hits onto Murrdurr. Half HP, but the shell is burned. Cyclone come out on top.
They do, but it was a bit of a miscommunication from them there. You saw Deathwalker initiate and the rest of the team back out, and he's like, oh, we're not initiating? Okay. So he goes back to farming again. They could have potentially saved a little bit more if they would have walked away, but instead they're getting aggressed on in 2 lanes.
Look at the wraparound, Hindu Man. Cyclone comes from the other side to protect their own tower. NinjaBobat has to dash out. There's a double lift, and there's the double jump. Murrdurr in some trouble as well. NBK on the front side looking for anybody who wants to step in front of him. He goes from one target to a third, everybody down to 10% HP, but because of the lack of target prioritization, no deaths on the side of Torpedo.
It's just kill confirm, that's the issue. I keep saying it, and that's the issue Torpedo have the whole game. They don't have the damage to confirm a single kill in this, and because of that, Cyclone survive and then end up getting reinforcements every time they turn it around. Gamehunter versus the world here, looking for the kill on Wlfy, but the ring gets dropped just before the silence hits, and now it's Gamehunter trapped in a ring, no escape, gonna have to have Athena ult in to protect him too. Maybe Torpedo can turn it with a 4-man taunt.
Beautiful. There's 4 players caught up in it. Still can't find the kills. Hinderman, what are they missing?
Damage.
No, what are they missing?
Damage.
Kill confirm.
I mean, just damage overall. Look at the damage charts. You can see they've not got that much. I mean, it's Chaac who's top at the moment.
Chaac money.
And meanwhile, there's 3 members of Cyclone who are ahead.
Rough stuff coming out for the guys on Torpedo. They do wind up with a Tier 1 tower up in mid lane. That'll give them 500 gold.
Tell you what, if I'm a Torpedo fan right now, I'm really worried. Like, this is a critical game for them. They really don't want to split here. They need the 2-0 to really stay in proper contention here. Otherwise, they're going to go into the last set of the day, having to win and hope on potential results elsewhere to put them in this. Losing a game to Cyclone here is not what they would have wanted, obviously, but still, it's very difficult for them now.
We've gotten to see every team play so far this afternoon. I think...
Fantastic.
Yes.
Are absolutely playing fantastic right now. They didn't have the greatest start to the set today, overall today against Cyclone. They split 1-1, but Cyclone stepping up against Torpedo kind of shows the caliber that team is as well.
And that's where I was going to go. Torpedo is an SPL team fighting to keep their spot. Cyclone, on the other hand, a Pro-Am team fighting to earn their spot.
Nothing to lose.
Torpedo... Frankly, Hinderman, Torpedo don't look like one of the better teams here.
Well, if you go back to Torpedo of days of old, they used to be called the Night's Watch.
Oh, yeah.
Were in the SPL, got defeated and kicked out by Murrdurr. And then Murrdurrs are fantastic, just so you know. Well, most of them are anyway. Here's another gank onto Murrdurr, and Murrdurr surrounded, under pressure in the ring. He will fall down again. They're looking for iceicebabyy, but guess what? He's still going to live.
Look at the damage coming out of Korinyo.
This is what happens time and time again. Cyclone go in, iceicebabyy ults, they get a kill, and they all run away like little rats. Like, run away, run away! And they get out every time.
It reminds me of different MOBAs. Smite's gameplay is so interesting because the team fights are usually so complete, right? 5 kills, 4 kills, and that's it. Many other MOBAs, 1 kill and everybody runs away. That's what we're seeing here. And really, I think it's, when it comes to Smite, the reason you don't see that is because you're able to make these 1-2 punches turn into like team fight, snowball excursions. We're not getting that out of Torpedo because Korinyo's damage, jokes aside, it's hard to confirm, and Cyclone only have it out of Freya. So you're not able to, there's no reload on these teams is what I'm saying.
And what they keep doing though, with Cyclone as well is that once they do find that pick and disengage, they come back at you again as a 4 or 5 man unit. And like you saw just there, they took a tier 1 tower off that. You've got to keep answering these 4 or 5 man units that keep turning up with an Odin ult that then just burst you down. And once again, here we go.
And they're going to burst him down. Wlfy in some trouble. Murrdurr finds a good taunt, but not going to be able to do much off of it.
But this was good from Torpedo there. The defense was good. There was just not enough to confirm it. And now they're going to disengage one more time here at Cyclone.
Ooh.
They know they've not got the Odin ring here, so they're just going to back out again.
Deathwalker. Oh, my goodness. You ever see Die Hard?
I say die baby.
Deathwalker just walked through the entire wrong neighborhood wearing the other team's, like, just 1 through 5. Didn't do anything, just walked through them. Nobody on Torpedo turned and looked at him. And instead, Cyclone are the ones that get blown up. Ice gets eliminated.
Torpedo going in very deep here for these kills. They chased in instead of looking at Wlfy, which isn't available yet, credit to them. They wanted to try and find another follow-up kill there after Baby, but it's just not available for them. Yeah. Cyclone just sit back well enough that they're like, ouch, nothing else we can do.
I don't know how Deathwalker got away with that one.
The funny thing is, for how well like Cyclone have been disengaging, Torpedo have stayed in there in terms of farm, and now they're starting to get a couple of picks.
See, Deathwalker got away from them. He walked right through the entire team. I think Torpedo was mad about that. They chased Deathwalker for 20 seconds into his own jungle.
Well, this is actually turning out into experience from Torpedo now, because we saw Deathwalker kind of walk around, not sure what to do. They end up picking up his life there, Torpedo. Then they get a tier 2 tower off that as well, with the Wlfy still standing. So now we're back to an even keel game. Their lead wasn't that big for the kills that they had.
And that experience is really big there, Hindu Man, because I stand by my statement. Out of our 4 teams, I think Torpedo is number 3 or number 4. But their experience playing at a high level, Cyclone, after that exchange, like you said, they didn't really know what to do. Torpedo knew exactly what to do.
After looking at the 4 teams today, I'd probably, before the teams today, it would have been Torpedo and Cyclone were the 2 that I expect to go through to the Pro League. However, fantastic performance today so far tells me that one of these 2 are probably going to be the ones going home here.
I had fantastic beforehand, in all honesty. I think that team looks... That team is just incredible. I mean, you've got a number of players. You've got the Bruise Brothers, who is my favorite part of that lane, and they're looking incredible. Cyclone, on the other hand, a little bit more of a hodgepodge team, but they're certainly able to pull it off as well. Right now we're tied, but hold that. We're separated. Cyclone find themselves with the lead, 2,300 gold in the lead as we approach a half hour.
So surprised Torpedo gave that up for free. I mean, they swung to the right, they get the tier 2 tower, and then they all just go back to base, neander back to base for the most part. Nobody checks on Wlfy, keeps it warded up so they know what's going on. They just have to relinquish it. So in the end, they're like, okay, guys, we'll take a tier 2 tower right in trade of a gold.
You know, man, that last sequence over there on the right side over by solo lane,
yeah.
I said, that's Torpedo not being the better team, but the more experienced team. Them dropping Gold Fury, that's showing inexperience.
I love the experience there from Cyclone. Wlfy got taunted, didn't even panic at all. Sat there, held his Purification, held his Sanctuary, no worries. Now it's time for Cyclone to be on the offensive instead. Here they go. Deathwalker to the back with the Eagles rally onto Moex. Going to force the Athena roll as well to the back. Meanwhile, ringed in is NinjaBobat, who's actually looking for iceicebabyy with the Phantom.
Iceice is going to go ahead and a knock up and a lift up. It's a different story. Gamehunter drops the elbow on 3 members.
No
but here it is. Kaloss doing his Makoa. 3 players pulled. Murrdurr gets toasted. Gamehunter's in trouble as well. 2 players low. Bobat finds an exit. Moex does as well. Korinyo leading the retreat. Everybody coming down mid lane. Blink, jump, and he falls.
He does go down for another one. So 3 members of Torpedo dead. Now Cyclone barreling down the mid lane as a team now. No minions with them, but they can still get a tier 2 tower here. Just got to juggle aggro well. They've got enough tanks on that front side, and all Torpedo can do is sit and watch.
1,500. Bang, bang. Cyclone turn things around, come right down the middle lane, and find them sitting up 5,000 gold. They're going to push a Firebird.
They actually tanked it up quite a lot for Wlfy to try and deal the damage, but Wlfy getting aggressed on by NinjaBobat. NinjaBobat now trapped in a ring away from his team. Root off the mark from Korinyo, and eventually Bobat goes down again. Odin has been the bane of the existence of the whole of the Torpedo lineup.
Very smart play coming out from Cyclone. This is a Freya team. This is a Freya team. Every single time you have a Freya team, you have to realize that your ability to kill the Phoenixes and structures are not as strong as if you had a traditional hunter. I know you have a Neith mid, but that Neith mid is not the same as like a character with a steroid that can just pump and barrel into it. So the Freya, you focus on the players instead of the structure, NBK gets the kill, and then everybody can look back at the Phoenix. Mid-Phoenix falls down, Cyclone up by 6k.
I'm looking at the Fire Giant now as the next be-all and end-all for Torpedo to get back into it. And I'd actually like to see Cyclone GG stay away from it as much as possible. Make sure they defend it, obviously, but I don't want to see him go for it.
Oh, man, Hindu. What a long game. I think my eyesight's going. Can you read me who's on top player damage, please?
It is the Nox, Korinyo, with his massive amounts of 2-1 and 2 kills. Just
awesome.
So you know.
Where's Moex?
It's because he got focused a little bit, and he's now 1 and 3 there, which is what I was hoping for after.
Oh, okay. Still crushing it as for now. Torpedo find themselves on the bottom side of things. Just 4 kills to their names. And you can see Gamehunter
out of position, and this is what Gamehunter generally does. He tries to split push and gives the team a window, but by doing that, they need to find one. They're going to get Gamehunter, but can iceicebabyy get away in the left? He can, you know. He's back to his team.
So the problem here, Gamehunter's been doing that playstyle for 3 years?
Generations. We can call it generations.
Generations?
Now. Each season is a generation.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think that's how that works.
It is.
Okay.
I was in my 20s back in season 1, so there you go.
Wow. All right, you know
generations.
The generational gap. But my point is that Gamehunter, that's what he does. He split pushes. Cyclone know that. They surround him with 4. They kill him easy peasy.
This is risky, but they can win big here if they can find something. And now if the ring comes down from iceicebabyy, going to see Athena trapped in again. Murrdurr's got to try and juke out as much as he can. He's looking for a target to ult onto, and instead, he's going to go down before he can. Now they can turn to the back to NinjaBobat as well. This is all about picks here. Getting the Fire Giant is one thing, but they've got to make sure the Wrath was on cooldown from Murrdurr.
VoteNBK forced into the air. He's in a lot of trouble. We might see a dead Freya here, but his teammates show up. Well protected.
Just covering all the options once again is Cyclone. They're not going to take the Fire Giant. They take the small window, taking a couple more picks off the map again. It's just not necessarily systematic. It's just like, we do the same thing over and over. That's all.
Pretty much.
It's like, oh, is there Athena here? Ring. Is Nemesis here? Ring.
Just a straight flow chart.
That's pretty much it.
If no Nemesis, ring.
It's like, is ring on cooldown? No. Use ring. Okay. Is ring off cooldown? On cooldown? Yes. Run away. That's just basically been what Cyclone's strategy's been to this game.
Hope ring comes off cooldown.
How long till ring is available? Not long enough. Keep running. It's that simple.
That's how it works. That's just how it works for the Odin players. iceicebabyy has had a wonderful game. 4-3-9. And again, we were speaking about the ring as Cyclone cleans up the big guy. That's the stuff that doesn't wind up on the scoreboard, right? I mean, the amount of rings that we've got that led to kills and assists, sure, 13. There they are right there on the scoreboard. But how many rings did we see that protected the teammates, that were defensive, that protected objectives? That's what doesn't make it there. And iceice has had a fantastic game.
He's a good player too. He's come a long way since his early days. He used to be known as Ice HD, and back then he was still jungling and in amongst it, trying to work in the Challenger Cup and get his way up here. Finally started to make something happen for himself towards his Season 3 now, looking to try and get himself into the Pro League here. And the way this is going for Cyclone GG here, well, they're 1 point towards it at least.
I think we're seeing a lot of these players a lot of these players like iceicebabyy, like Colossus, even on the North American side, like Verizial, like yesteryear for Murrdurr. A lot of these players clean up their acts, whether it's social or gameplay or otherwise, and now they're able to put themselves on the big stage next to the veterans, and we're just seeing a new class of players come in, and iceice is definitely one of these guys that you sort of knew from being around the scene, but now that he's put in a little bit more work and everything has really shifted, we're able to see him make a move for the top players.
Just cleaning things up overall is the big thing. Maybe finding 1 or 2 things and having a few more things click than we used to be doing. At the moment, though, Cyclone did what they needed to. They take a tier 2 tower on the left, get the Wlfy as well. This Phoenix in mid lane is weakened, but they might as well just strip the jungle for now. I don't think they're as confident as they may want to be. Obviously, there is a team fight potential from Torpedo with the Knock Silence, the Chaac, and the Sun draining down.
Yep.
There's a couple of things that could go wrong for them, but if they play this well and just keep finding a pick and drawing Torpedo into them, they'll be okay.
I think it's much more simple than that. The next team fight that NBK gets a double kill and the Cyclone wins.
I can feel that one.
I think it's just that simple. Cyclone are going to engage, and Torpedo for the entire watch the tape. All the viewers at home, go watch Torpedo play throughout the spring split. They are excellent at running away and retreating. And I don't mean that. I'm not throwing shade. What I'm saying is when they lose a member, they're going to retreat and they're going to run away like we've seen all game today. If NBK is able to get 2 kills, we get to see Cyclone just overrun the base.
Story is this time around, though, they're at the Phoenixes, and Phoenixes are a little bit more difficult to 5 versus 5 underneath. They have got that weakened one in mid lane, though, which is the prevalent one they want to take first of all. It's the easiest one for them to do, and I think that's what they're after here. They may not see a full commit by Torpedo here, but just keep an eye on Moex. He has got him in a full crit online here as well, so he's going to do a lot more damage, but there's the ring.
There's the ultimate coming out from, well, everybody. Hindu Man, the ring, the Suns, everything has been dropped. There's the elbow coming out of Gamehunter. Torpedo with a fantastic defensive set, but there's Shell. Cyclone turning around. VoteNBK has 1. Remember what I said. Moex in trouble. VoteNBK has 2. There's the double kill. There's the push in. There's the triple kill. There's the push in. Titan going down. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a best of 2. Cyclone will take game number 1 off of a triple kill from NBK.
Just a great performance from Cyclone overall. They go down the mid lane there. Torpedo could have backed out. They could have tried to back out if they wanted to. Instead, they stuck there. They decided to try and defend that Phoenix. By doing that, they gave themselves a window to lose, and they did.
I mean, like I said, we assessed the compositions and the win conditions earlier on. See,
not completely.
I disagree. I think that Torpedo had a good pick and ban phase. I think they had a late game composition. They had 2 separate win conditions. Cyclone just sat there and said, "Hey, NBK, you feeling it?" And he said, "Yes, sir." And they said, "Okay, we're going to farm you up. You're not going to die. And then you're going to go get a multi-kill and we'll win the game." He said, "All right, fine." And that's exactly what we saw.
Can't remember how picks and bans went, but I'm pretty sure it was Chaac and Nox were the final 2 picks after Odin had already been locked in.
Exactly.
There's nothing more to that. Like,
I don't have as much issue with that. Again, going back to what we said in the 7 minutes was the exchange under the mid lane tower earlier on in the game. Torpedo had the mindset, they had the game plan, they had the picks and bans, they had all the tools. They just did not have the execution. Game 2, looking for the split, hoping these turns around here.
Thanatos. They couldn't confirm a kill because they all run away with low health. Thanatos.
All right.
Instead of Nemesis.
All right. You know what? I'm with it. Maybe we'll see a Thanatos in game
number 2. You know, that's also got an execute on it too.
I don't think Ao Kuang is a god that Torpedo really want to go with.
I agree.
Bobat, we've seen him play other gods a little bit more successfully. So let's take a look.